So we have about one more week until chapter 12 releases. And I must admit, I'm extremely excited for it and just more into what the story is going to be telling us. One of the most shocking endings, chapter 11, finding out that Mr. P is half of a robot, but leaving behind two key characters, Pony and ZIZZY. What will happen to them? Also, if you are enjoying the Roblox Piggy predictions, if you can leave a like on this video and share it, it is much appreciated and shows your support for the channel. We also have a Piggy Discord that if you would like to join in and submit your predictions, you can also do that as well. And we have a new plushie that is out. I'll also link that down below in the description. If you would like to pre-order that, you can also do so. But with that being said, sit back and relax, and we're gonna be talking about what could possibly happen to Pony and ZIZZY. Okay, so before we get into where Pony and ZIZZY are now and what may possibly happen to them, I want to give you just a little quick overview of Pony and ZIZZY, when we met them, how are these particular characters in my opinion, and yeah, what's going to be in the future for them. So when we meet ZIZZY and Pony, we find them in chapter 8 at the end, which was the carnival. We make it to the very end, and that's where we bump into ZIZZY and Pony. Pony also kind of saves us a little bit there from Foxy, and we can always tell that, well, we can't always tell, but the minute Pony started talking, we can tell that Pony is just a little bit ditzy, and then we have ZIZZY, who kind of seems like to be the for sure one and the brains behind it. So that's kind of like where we are with Pony and ZIZZY when we meet them at the end of chapter 8. It was also kind of funny, the ending too, and they're going to take us to a safe place. Then we lead into chapter 9, the city, and we're looking for the safe place, and we find out that Grandma and Ellie is infected down below in the city. So I would say at the end of chapter 10, that's when we kind of got an introduction to really ZIZZY and Pony, other than just, hey, I'm ZIZZY, hey, I'm Pony, you know, come with us. So yeah, we actually had a talk with them. That's when we let them know that we're a police officer, and then Pony and ZIZZY let us know a little bit about them. Like Pony wanted to be an optometrist like his dad, and then ZIZZY was looking after the sisters, and then there's a mystery character behind the dumpster, which leads us into chapter 10, where we follow this character to the mall, and it turns out to be George in the end of chapter 10. Now Pony wasn't in chapter 10 as far as like a character you can use. It was in 9 but not 10. It was just ZIZZY. And then at the end, you, ZIZZY, and George show up, and that's when you meet ZIZZY's sisters, and then you have Pony as well. Now remember, there was a sign or a note, shall I say, in chapter 10 that said don't trust the SI, and then we have Pony comes in the end and says don't trust the signal. He doesn't say don't trust the signal, but he says he's followed the signal, which we all think it is the signal or the sisters. He's followed the signal and is going to track us down to find Mr. P, and then that's where it leads us into chapter 11 here, and chapter 11 took place in an outpost. So we have this, I thought we were actually going to be going with like Molly Mole and Giraffe as they were there, like it was just going to be all of us in this one map. But we have Pony and ZIZZY here, and the outpost is crazy. I mean, there's soldiers everywhere, and it doesn't look good. And then at the very end of that, we bump into some more surprises, shall I say, and it's Mr. P, who is half a robot. But before that scene, we have a scene where George shows up. So right at the beginning of the chapter 11 ending scene, George shows up out of nowhere and is like, what are you doing here? But George actually convinced the sisters to play hide and seek. So yeah, this is kind of crazy, because beginning of this, all of you guys were about to go through there to meet Mr. P. But then George shows up and kind of derails this whole entire plan and kind of gets you off to go with Mr. P. So Pony was also, I find it funny that Pony also was just like, George, aren't the sisters supposed to be watching you? So George, Pony was really insisting, not really insisting. A lot of people don't actually trust Pony, to be fair. We also have the TSP theory that TSP stands for the secret pony, also the super potato, a lot of things. But yeah, a lot of people don't trust Pony, shall I say. So here we have it. So Pony is the one that says, George, aren't the sisters supposed to be watching you? I feel like that should have been ZIZZY's line though, to be fair. And then George is like, I convinced them to play hide and seek. And then we're asking like, George, why did you follow us? And then George, of course, wanted to see exactly who hurt the family. But that's where it leads off in this bit where you go off with Mr. P. And Pony is quite aware that, you know, George has attracted quite the crowd. And now Pony has to kind of stay there with ZIZZY. So ZIZZY is going to hang back with Pony, and what they're going to do is they are going to fight off all the soldiers. Now, this doesn't look like a good scene here, and people also are thinking, a theory is, so this is a couple theories, a couple friend of mine as well are thinking too. And so there's a scene here where ZIZZY says, if we don't make it out of this, I just want to let you know. And then it's just a ... And then ZIZZY goes, you know, you don't have to say it. It's okay, Pony. I already know. So it's either Pony would reveal something. A lot of people are like, Pony's gonna say, I love you, ZIZZY. Or, you know, Pony may reveal that, you know, I am TSP. Or at this point, I feel like this is one of those movie scenes, in my personal opinion, like where it's like picture, if you've never seen, like, let's say for the Avengers or something, like there's you know, something about to happen where they know they're not gonna make it out alive. And then it's just like, look, if I have something to really say, and if I don't say it right now, and it's just like, you know, it could have been like, it's been a good run. It's been great being your friend. You know, it could be something like that, like, and you don't know exactly, but a lot of people are thinking Pony and ZIZZY might actually die in this scene or get infected. I would assume that maybe one of these characters come back and, you know, let's say they don't make it out with these soldiers, that, you know, one of these characters again will come back infected, or something will happen to them. Or it could be, let's say they boss out and destroy all these soldiers. So there's multiple things there that can happen. But what I want to do is I want to take the comments and read off some of your theories and see what you think about this. I think that this was just one of those scenes where they know they're not going to make it out of this and something is going to happen. So yeah, unless Pony makes it out. Let's say Pony does betray ZIZZY in this situation. Pony shows up at the end and it's just like, wait, where's ZIZZY? And then Pony comes up with some excuse or something. So yeah, I mean, I'm not ruling out that Pony is evil. Or not evil, shall I say. But yeah, a lot of things can happen in this scene, but I just think it's one of those things like, look, this looks like a warhead, and we may not make it out of this alive kind of moment. So yeah, let's take to the comments and see what you all think, what will happen to Pony and ZIZZY in chapter 12. So Neko Female Human Cube says, I have a theory. What if the chapter 12 is the lab? We go to the lab to solve mysteries until the cure is found. If not, the world will be a game over. While ZIZZY and Pony are fighting, maybe Pony dies or ZIZZY dies or both. So yeah, a lot of people thinking that maybe these characters might die. It's Cool Guy Supercraft had some questions as well. So here are some questions that I asked and wanted to know the answer. These are really good questions, guys. If you want to answer these as well, feel free to do so. So here we have it. So one is, where did this all start and how? That's a very good question. 2, why did Mr. P do this? 3, what is the true meaning of TSP? I personally think it's the sister potato. 4, what will happen in the end? What next up? Number 5, if Mr. P started this, will he be the one to end it with a cure? 6, where will chapter 12 take place? We also have 7, is Bunny and Doggy still alive? 8, will there be a boss fight in chapter 12, which I'm hoping there will be? 9, will Pony and ZIZZY make it out after the fight with the soldiers in the ending of chapter 11? Ooh, I don't know. And 10, who is the true villain of the story? Mr. P, TSP. Thanks for that. That's all. Thanks. So those are some really good questions, I think. And I think those are a lot of questions that a lot of people really want the answers for, including myself. Bella says, what if ZIZZY and Pony become robots? That's true. What if this infection phase is just like, first they get infected, then they're like past the infection and getting, you know, they're turning to like a robot. We don't know exactly. So yeah, that's not a bad theory. I've also thought, like, what if Roby is actually like someone that Mr. P knows? Because right now the only 2 robots we have is, you know, Mr. P right now and Roby. So who knows if this is just a stage of the infection? We'll have to see. Donut_xplay says, I love a cliffhanger story, but I love a death ending like Mr. P dies. Here's why. I think the final chapter is Mr. P's lab, then we get to defeat Mr. Potato, but first we have to fight robot characters like Robot Bunny, Robot Doggy. Then once you defeated the robots, you talk to Mr. Potato, he says Mr. Potato, so you can get all the information and distract him. Then ZIZZY and Pony grab him and you get the potions, but you get to choose 2 different sets of potions if there's a cure or infection potions. So you get a good ending and a bad ending. Hope you like my theory. Please mention me in your video. Love you so much. Love your Piggy predictions, and I watched all of them because your predictions are so good. Thank you so much, Donut. I really appreciate that one. Yeah, I would love to have that scene where we have to choose. You know, I did hear chapter 12 will have multiple endings, so I would love that, you know, that choosing theory. Bammy says, my prediction is that Mr. P is just a robot controlled by the real Mr. P, and Mr. P is leading you into a trap. What I think is that Pony and ZIZZY are going to be alive and stop Mr. P, and after Mr. P traps you or does not trap, and he's gonna talk and why he turned everyone evil, and after we stop, it ends and starts. And we have the player to find the cure and the cure everyone infected. Please put this in your next video, Big B, if you could see. That was not a bad theory at all. So yeah, maybe we'll get that ending that we want. Scary Mind says, my theory is I think that Mr. P has an accident and was replaced by robotic parts and lost his memory, or maybe Bunny is a ghost and haunting him. I also think that Pony and ZIZZY are going to be infected. Let's hope not. Salik Ha says, I have two theories. TSP, the super potato, sabotaged Mr. P's potions while trying to save others. TSP made Mr. P think that he would be the one who infected the others, which made him feel really guilty. 2, Mr. P had a half robotic version of himself to distract you, ZIZZY, and Pony, while the Mr. P was trying to make more potions and make others in danger. Not a bad theory. Bella Solaris Jones says, who's also a member on the channel, what if TSP is the subject potato? What if Mr. P is the subject potato? Wait, he is now part robot. I do think they are all robots because they all have the same red eyes and they all don't talk and lost their memories. Oh, this is such a good theory. Mr. P is only half robot, so he only lost part of his memory and can still talk. That shadow in the building of Mrs. P might be her as a robot now spying on you, or for Mr. P, and when Pony and ZIZZY are about to fight, Pony was going to say, ZIZZY, I like or love you, and I think ZIZZY likes Pony or loves Pony. I also think that George is going to help defeat Mr. P or whoever is behind this. I also think Mrs. P could be behind this. She was in the window of the building watching the player. She could be teaming up with Mr. P and the player. I think Doggy and Bunny are both either killed or trapped by Mrs. P. She might be trying to make them better. And why I think they were all robots is because the potion made them lose their memories and pass out. Then Mr. or Mrs. P, whoever is behind this, could make them into a robot. These are my theories. P.S. How would the 7 potions write if they can't talk? What if they can't understand words? If they are robots? Wow, this is very interesting. You also have to think, like, what if they're actually giving them the potion, right? And then like kind of like kidnapping them. So let's say like what if they give them the potion and then they pass out and then they take them and replace them with a robot? That's also really not a bad theory. Kaylin Murray says, my chapter 12 prediction. ZIZZY and Pony was either about to tell ZIZZY he loves her, or maybe that he has been controlling Mr. P this entire time. How could he find the signal? Mr. P, he was trying to find a cure of his daughter, but turned into an outbreak. He was testing cures on everyone. Maybe the second infection stage is becoming robotic and losing control of body's mind. Maybe Roby is his daughter's or son. Maybe Roby is his daughter or son. Doggy, Bunny, Rip. They got infected and died. They could turn into ghosts to help us in the end and fight Mr. P after all. I also think maybe we are the only ones that can see the ghost, and maybe we are immune to the infection. Throw back to the hospital. Thanks for reading this. Have a nice day. That is such a good theory. You guys come up with some amazing theories. Imagine, right? Everyone, like all the animals are being replaced by robots. That's a theory. Also, we're the cure, like we're immune to this infection as well. So yeah, there's definitely a mastermind behind all this, but hopefully Pony and ZIZZY will make it out, or maybe they will be replaced if that is actually happening. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share it, and also feel free to subscribe for more. And if you're new, I'd love to hear your theories down below on chapter 12. And yeah, wow, I will see you in the next video.